1, go. Alright, sorry about that brief cutoff, but yeah, you didn't really miss anything. We're just still tweaking the landing. Ooh. Just deleting the ARM keyframes that I did there, since those were by accident. Right. I'm going to be a bit lazy and do a bit of copy and pasting. That is not what I wanted at all. That's what I get for being lazy. Alright, I might have to select the whole thing and then copy like this. That still isn't what I want. Okay, I'll do it the non-lazy way. Okay, you got me. I think I know why that's happening actually. It's because not every frame is keyframed here. Alright. Actually, wait. I should be able to copy all of this. I don't know why it's not copying properly. Normally it's fine. There we go. I could copy that. And then from there I should be able to copy the feet. Which are there. Well, actually no, I'll copy the... Before I do that, let me shift the hip down. Yeah, you can't be too lazy with Maya animation. Otherwise, the program's just like, no! Stop being lazy, you stupid person. Okay. That's fine. 1 foot is in position. This foot got proper bent out of shape as well. Like, I don't know what the deal is with this foot. It's fine, it's fine. Let me delete this keyframe. It's probably easier if I just position it back myself. There we go. There we go. I'm going to push this foot back. I want to try and get it to approximately line up with the foot on this bone. this bone, this frame even. Just a little more to the side. And let me shift his weight so that there's a stronger, shift his weight more into a more suitable position. Alright, so we have our basic jumping animation without any arm movement. As I said before, I'll add that all in at a later stage. Actually, let me drag this forward a bit. I want to increase the length of the reaction. Alright. So there's a pretty, you know, it looks pretty decent. Obviously there's more we can do with it. But basically this kind of, it shows you what the general 3 stages are. Now to refine this further, what I'm going to do is go into Window, Animation Editors, Graph Editor. And this won't really make sense initially. You're just going to see lots of weird lines like this. But basically, every bone or control, what it does is dictated by values. And what the Graph Editor allows you to do is it allows you to more visually edit those values in a more visual way. So it allows you to visualize what exactly is happening with regards to the values and edit them. So here we have the hip ends translate Y. And for a jump, what we kind of want is like a fairly smooth curve. We want it to dip down here and then curve up. So this keyframe here actually might be unnecessary or not really fit very well. Actually, I might remove this one because I know what that one does. So if I remove this keyframe on the hip, we get a slightly different movement here. You won't really see it initially, but it's definitely there. Alright, Graph Editor. And we have a pretty smooth arc here. But I might try and make it a bit smoother, or just try and make it a bit more pronounced. So I'm going to try and drag this up. Oh, actually I don't want to drag it across the frame, just up. And then beyond shifting the positions of the tangent of the keyframes, you can also break and edit their tangents. So by clicking this little button here, the break tangents tool, basically what it allows you to do on the selected keyframe is adjust how the curve goes in and out. So here it's a flat line, so it kind of eases. But if I were to drag this tangent, this side of the tangent, and drag it down with the middle click, you can see it's now become a much sharper dip. So he will, between frames 1 to 6, he will drop down into position into his crouch for his jump. He'll drop down sharper and then ease into it near the end. And here as well, actually here is good because we kind of want him to ease up into the the standing back into the idle. So actually what I want to do is lower this keyframe down a bit, and then ease this up, and maybe ease this up too. Right. So let's see what that's done with regards to the hip movement. It's kind of hard to see. It's a little bit smoother. Another thing I definitely want to edit is the legs. The way that they kind of snap up here is not very attractive. If you press A in the graph editor, it basically allows you to view your selected curve more easily. So that's very handy. So I'm going to delete this keyframe just to make this curve smoother. I think I'll delete this one. And let's look at the other leg. Again, delete this. And I think this one is kind of okay. So actually what I ended up doing here is kind of bad. Actually no. It seemed like it was bad on paper, but it ended up okay. I don't actually want this curve to be completely smooth. I want him to hold his legs up a little longer here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually edit that again. Oh, let me... So let's try that. Yeah, that's nicer. There's a nice sense of flow in his legs now. So yeah, that's a very simple jumping animation. And as I was saying before, we have the 3 stages of it. The anticipation, which is him building up to the landing until about here. I'd say like frame 18 here. These frames. Let me shift left click. Select these. The jump itself, the action of the jump, which is all of this until he lands, and then the reaction from the jump, which is the landing. Now during the action of the jump, a jump action is actually quite long because you have the entire space of him being in the air, well, and you know, just the squash and stretch of the jump action itself. Although I guess you could say that the actual action is the point where he's just thrusting off the ground. And then everything after that is essentially a reaction to that thrust off the ground. But that's just kind of that's getting into a more complex kind of hierarchy of how a jump works. I wanted to keep this simple, so I will do exactly that. But you guys can kind of visualize everything that's happening here. And here, as we see with the squash and stretch, he squashes down, stretches at this point, between these points, to thrust off the ground. I might here actually keep his legs extended for this frame. And then he begins to squash again near the apex of his jump. Stretch again as he's preparing to land, and then squash again as he lands. So let me edit this frame. Alright, cool. Sweet. Alright. So that basically covers everything that I needed to do with regards to this lesson. As you can see, there's various elements of this jump that I'm missing. As I said before, I've done that very deliberately so that I can use those elements as other lessons. But hopefully this helped you guys understand and get a feel for how you apply squash and stretch to basic character actions. There's a lot more that you can do with squash and stretch. As I said before, Pac-Man is a really good example to look at, Pac-Man in Smash 4. So I guess your homework is to look at the characters in Smash 4. Actually, no, not the characters, Pac-Man specifically. Look at Pac-Man specifically in Smash 4 and see and try and understand how squash and stretch is applied to a good number of his moves. You guys can leave answers to this in the comments, the YouTube comments, and my Twitter, I guess. But for now, I will see you guys next lesson. Next lesson we will be covering secondary action and follow through. See you then. Alright, so I'm not actually stopping the stream right now. If you guys have any